Ew, don't call me a healer. It's so cringy. Why would you put me on a pedestal like I'm supposed to come and bibbidi boppity boop you and solve all your problems and your issues and heal you? Doesn't that sound so pretentious? But somehow you clicked onto this conversation and you're wondering, how do I know that I'm a healer? Because there's a part of your intuition, a part of your gut that's like wanting to be of service, wanting to support, wanting to nurture, wanting to share your information, wanting to share your experiences, wanting to create community, wanting. There's this deep desire within you, and maybe it's really, really loud, or maybe it's super quiet. It's just like knock, knock, But there's something within you that is putting you onto this path. But how do you know that you're qualified to be a healer? Exactly what are the qualifications to be a healer? Like, did anybody give us that notice? I don't remember getting one. So, friends, welcome to the playground. I'm Shanila, and let's talk about this. There's a long answer and a short answer to how do I know that I'm a healer? And me, meaning, how do you know you're a healer, right? How do you come to terms with the fact that you're meant to be of service? There is a gift that is desiring to be shared with the world. There's a community that is desiring to listen to your message and to hear your message and to be held by you. There's a long answer and a short answer. The short answer is you're a healer when you step up and begin healing yourself. Because the word healer has so many different connotations, right? Sometimes you see folks and it's like, I'm on a pedestal and like, I have the answers and I do all these different things and here's all my modalities and all my certifications. And you have this external validation for yourself and of what qualifies you to be a healer. Versus this internal journey that's more so about, what have you gone through? Have you gone and faced your crap? Have you gone and looked at the parts of you that is hurt? That little part of you that is the darkness, that is angry, that part of you that responds and reacts, the part of you that pushes away, the part of you that destroys, the part of you that self-sabotages, the part of you that is stuck in that loop, the part of you that welcomes in poor energy hygiene into your stratosphere. Have you gone and experienced and met those parts of you? The easy thing for any of us to do, whether you identify as a healer or not, the easy thing for any of us to do is to bypass all of those things, right? You probably have heard of the language around spiritual bypassing. Part of healers bypassing is to step in without doing the work for yourself too. Not first or before or after, but too. And the way that you become a healer is that you become your own healer first. You begin to support yourself. You begin to show up for yourself. You begin to acknowledge those annoying parts of you that are really super toxic, that doesn't know how to have friends, that doesn't know how to have support, that doesn't know how to draw boundaries, that doesn't know, like the list goes on and on. Like, I don't mean to trigger you about it, but the list can go on and on. And because there's this little parts of us that isn't wanting to face those things, it's uncomfortable to be like, oh my gosh, I complain all the time about not having friendships, but it's me. I'm the one who's like pushing friends away. Or you complain all the time about like, oh my gosh, there's no, good men around, but it's you. You're the one who behaves a certain way. Or you behave a certain way with your caretakers or parents or your child or however it is that you show up. There's all these different behaviors that aren't necessarily helpful in your life. And you low-key are aware of that. And the way that you know that your inner healer is calling is that you begin to have a little bit less tolerance for these things. You're like, I'm kind of tired of myself. I'm kind of tired of behaving this way. I'm kind of tired of the same repercussions or the same outcomes from behaving this way. It's like, I do this and I get this result, and then I'm back to square one. But to be your own healer is to acknowledge those things exist, that everything's not perfect, and we're not aiming for perfection. We're aiming for awareness. We're aiming for integration. We're aiming for vulnerability and softening. We're aiming for really allowing yourself to see where it is that you actually are. And so for many of us, we don't want to see us for where we are. We want to future project, right? Manifestation, look at your future self, And you're future projecting this part of you into a part of you without really getting to the core part of you that still hurts. Because in this future projection is like, is this person's inner child healed? Is this person going to show up and behave a certain way with their caretakers and parents and have anger and resentment like your little teenager showing up? Yes, those things will resurface again. You can quantum, you can jump, you can leap, you can collapse timelines, you can do all of that stuff, but the healing still has to come from you, friend. Because nothing is sustainable unless we put the energetics within our body. And so if you're asking yourself, am I a healer? I want to ask you, are you? Do you go and heal yourself? Do you go and face the parts of you that feel really tough to face? And it's not an overnight job, right? Every time you face something, there's another layer that opens up. And it's not to put you into a trap of healing and a trap of continuously finding out what's wrong and finding out what's to fix. Like, that's a whole other issue. That's not what we're talking about over here. But there's a part of you that knows, like, it's time. It's time to acknowledge that. It's time not to just like send that ugly text and be so defensive and self-sabotage your opportunities and not be able to energetically meet and match the things that are manifesting around in your life right now. And when you decide, not if you decide, because everybody's timing is so different, but when you decide that you're going to show up and you're ready to show up, that's when you stepped into yourself as a healer. The next layer of this is embody it. Embody the fact that, yeah, you know what? Like, you're healing friendship wounds. You're healing the way that, family structures are for you. Because maybe there's something, a storyline in your childhood where it's like you saw stuff that, didn't feel really healthy or safe for you. And now you're restructuring it. So when you embody that with your own family, your own interactions, your own conversations, you're healing. And if you were healing, aren't you a healer? So the trick of it comes down to, we try to hold space for things that we haven't actually healed through yet. We're like, manifest our best life ever, but we haven't manifested our best life ever. We have done parts of what we consider is our best life ever. So can you meet yourself there? Can you meet yourself in the present moment that says, you know what? There's things that I would change. There's things that I'm working on. There's things that I would like to evolve into. There's things that I would love to know how to embody that I don't really understand how to embody right now. And I'm going to be okay with that. If we bypass that feeling, if we bypass that experience, that's when we get into that trouble. That's when we get into this imposter syndrome. We try to hold space for other people and we really know nothing about it because we didn't hold space for it for ourselves. So your first client, your first, prospect, your first guinea pig is you, and that's good news and bad news too, because it's like, oh shit, like I have to try it out on myself first. It's like, yeah, exactly. You try it out on yourself first and you say, am I willing to face these shadows? Am I willing to go to the deep, dark parts of me that I didn't really want to face? And it's not to get caught up in it and just, put your energetics into something that doesn't feel empowering to you. But when you go and you start to untangle and retangle, every single thing within your energetic body reprograms itself. So now you're going to start to show up in a different vibration. Your embodiment's going to look a little bit different. Your perspective around what it is that you say and how it is that you say it and the way that you say it is going to shift. Because you have shifted. Your energy has shifted. The way that you approach the way that you approach your world shifts because you're looking at yourself first. You're not pointing the fingers at like, my parents did this and my middle school friends did that and so did this and my teachers do the blah, 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 blah. It's easy to point the fingers all the way over there and now it's like, beep, 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 maybe it's me, right? Like maybe it's me. Maybe it's me who is self-sabotaging. It is me who's not prepared to meet the opportunity because I'm not working on my energy. It is me who has poor boundaries and poor energy hygiene, and I'm literally giving the keys to every single person to my house. For what? That's not safe, right? Everybody has access to you, and maybe it's you who has, no self-respect or self-love. And now this is not to feel bad. It's like, oh no, I don't have self-respect. I don't have self-love. It's that awareness that now takes you into that next layer. It's like, oh shit. Like, oh, that's why I was doing all of these things? Because I was seeking love? That's why I was rejecting, is because like I have abandonment? That's why I was doing these things, because it made me feel this way as a child? Those are the angles of that. So I leave you here with this. If you are somebody who is considering, am I a healer? The answer is yes, everybody is a healer, okay? Regardless of the fact, whatever your relationship is with the word, that's just the label. But let's look at the action. Are you willing to step into yourself? Are you willing to take a magnifying glass to you? It's not about other people. A healer is not about other people. It's not about that pedestalizing yourself and saying, solving everybody's problem except mine. We know those people, right? It's like they can fix everybody else's problem but themselves. And it's not about getting yourself into like a perfect place. It's about meeting yourself where it is that you are. So if in this moment in time, you're like, yeah, I would love to be of service, and I would love to help, and I would love to empower, and I would love to hold space. And I'm also integrating my own information too. I'm softening within myself. I'm reconfiguring the ways that I think about myself, the way that I think about the stories that I tell myself, the narratives that I have, the ways that I respond and react, my anger. I'm willing to look at that. So friends, I hope this conversation helped you. Go ahead and leave some comments like, are you a healer? Let me know. And just remember, the world is your playground, and I will catch you soon.